My name's Alex Duta. I grew and scaled a restoration company from my dad's garage to over 8 figures, and now I'm on a mission to help you grow and scale yours. Today we're going to be talking about the importance of mitigation SOPs. So I'm often in restoration groups on Facebook, and I see people throwing out all kinds of different crazy, acronyms out there, SOPs, KPIs, so on and so forth. And it's kind of funny because there's so many different ways to run a restoration company, and of course, there's so many different opinions on the groups to do things. Now, the reality of things are, you're the entrepreneur that decided to run a restoration company, and it is your responsibility to create these SOPs based on your mission, your vision, and how you want to run your company. There's a lot of decisions out there. Do we do vendor work? Do we not do vendor work? Do we dry in place ever? Do we not dry in place ever? Do we bill the homeowner and not deal with insurance, or do we actually bill the insurance company and wait? What do we want as a company to do? Now, the importance of SOPs, or standard operating procedures, is to ensure that your entire company runs like a well-oiled machine. If you don't have things detailed to the T on how things should run, well, you have two different employees that have the same position within the company. They're going to do things in two different ways. So it's very, very, very important to take time to craft SOPs and to put everything together. Now, in the link below, I do have SOPs that we will be referencing throughout this video that you can download and then you can actually kind of play around with. So if we take a look at these SOPs that I created, at the top I just put, your restoration company and so on and so forth. We write a little blurb about the objective, and then I wrote the roles needed to satisfy the SOP. Now, what I mean by roles needed is the different key team members that we need. So in this SOP, it is a little bit complex, larger mitigation company, probably doing between 4 and 6 million. We have a call taker, we have a dispatcher, we have an emergency service project manager, a crew chief, a technician, an accounts receivable specialist, an office manager, and a facility manager, right? Now, we start with an SOP by outlining every single step of the process, right? In this situation, the first step of the process, which typically is always the first step, is lead qualification. We want to be very, very, very specific on what leads we accept and which leads we do not accept. And the reason behind that is we don't want our marketers coming back and saying, oh, you didn't accept this lead for whatever reason. We also don't want our dispatchers who are answering the phones making decisions just based out of their gut as to what leads to accept and what leads not to accept. So in this situation, we have, the call taker intakes the qualified lead, and qualification must include these 4 factors. The customers needed by an emergency service, by our company, right? And the customers within X amount of mile radius from our address. The customer identifies themselves as the homeowner, or authorized by the homeowner, and the customer is willing to allow your company to perform an inspection of the damages prior to giving the price. Now, these are just parameters that I put there. Notice that they are very specific and very clear cut. We can listen to a call recording and then go back and say, hey, call taker, did you actually follow the SOP? Yes or no? And we can go and say, okay, well, look, this call met all 4 of these requirements and you did not dispatch your crew. Why not? We have to be very, very specific. Now, again, you don't have to copy these word for word, right? If you're willing to give prices over the phone, then you can take step 4 out. That is up to the entrepreneur to decide, and to the founder of the company who, is running the restoration company. Now we take a look afterwards, the call taker, promises the customer that a project manager will arrive on scene within a certain amount of time. This time is set by the dispatcher, and that the project manager will assist from there. The project manager, has X amount of time to arrive on scene, right? And these are our business hours and so on and so forth, right? So everything is specifically detailed and outlined, right? Again, really, really important. Then the dispatch happens, the project manager gets dispatched. They have 20 minutes to be on the road within dispatch, and they inform dispatch within arrival on site, right? Then the sale process happens, and these are all the steps that the project manager has to follow within the sales process. And everything's included in there, including what notes they have to update within our software, including what Matterport scans they need, including what steps to take in case of one thing or another thing, right? Very, very, very specific, step by step. And then we go into production, and here's a Category 1 production, and a Category 2 water loss, and a Category 3 water loss, step by step what the crew chiefs have to do. And then afterwards, equipment pickup and step by step what needs to be done then, and invoicing, and step by step within 3 to 5 business days of equipment pickup, the ESRV estimator has to review the file and compile the estimate, and accounts receivable, and they have a 10% allowance to be able to give away and negotiate and so on and so forth. So, and then file closed, and how the administrative department manager reviews the file and what they have to review for, and so on and so forth. So again, the main point is to specifically detail every single step that has to occur within that SOP. So this is an example SOP that I have for you guys. You guys can feel free to take it, tear it apart, tweak it, and so on and so forth. If you guys want to have any questions or anything like that, or need any help kind of crafting your own SOP, let me know, and we'll kind of keep in touch.